So if we just read this verbatim, right? It's all the same stuff on the first line of the purchase agreement. And then this is just like the clause of what the equity protection plan is. Sellers agree to opt in for equity buyers program. It's a seller assist designed to work with buyers using conventional and non-conventional loans. Seller can be paid more money to participate. Due to closing with a loan may require repairs, appraisals, inspections, commissions, concessions, and other fees that will be paid or facilitated through the equity protection plan or retail buyer. It's uncommon for a retail buyer to pay 100% of the appraised value of the property. So will not incur any additional fees. Both parties agree to extend a closing line and adhere to any broker or loan requirements for the equity protection plan and the buyer's loan to close. The target closing will take place after sellers provided buyer access to the property and the property is listed on the MLS. The target closing is typically on or before 45 to 60 days, but can be delayed due to loan, property specific reasons. Property will be broom swept at move out, and all other terms and conditions of the contract remain the same. So this is just basically a disclosure of what the program is, which is novations is what we call it, where we're going to replace our contract with an offer to purchase from a buyer. So this just explains it. Like, we're going to find a buyer. Here's what you should expect. You're not going to accrue any more fees. The price is the price. We're going to take care of the rest. So that's all this is.
Yeah. And that's the explanation I need, because most people are talking 80 years old, 70, 80 years old.
So we don't, that's why we just say the first part of the equity protection offer just states what we agreed on in the purchase agreement we just signed. It shows today's date. It states the buyer is us, the seller is you. The next is the address. The paragraph below address states that we're able to qualify the property for the equity protection plan and why we're able to come up in price, which is exactly what this says in one sentence.
Yeah.
Right? Then next you'll see a signature, click there. And then this is the mutual release. So then the next page you see is our mutual release agreement. It simply states that if an end buyer is found as part of our pre-marketing of the property, then our original purchase agreement with you will still be valid and doesn't change anything with our original purchase agreement. So our agreement stays in place until this is executed. You'll see a place to sign at the end of that page. Once you click finish, we will sign on our end. You'll receive a copy of the execute, just like we always say. So this mutual release generally says we're gonna our original contract with them, the purchase agreement, can be replaced by an offer to purchase with a buyer at close. Okay, if we find a retail buyer during our equity protection plan process. It's basically what this says. So if say we find a retail buyer and during their inspection period or appraisal period, they say, oh, we can't buy it because this came up during the appraisal or inspection, then we're still under contract with our purchase agreement with the seller. That always stays in place until it's executed and closed with the other contract. Okay?
Yeah.
So the parties to that contract and this agreement mutually agree on a condition of rescission and release only upon the following actions. A new buyer from the equity buyer program is procured. So our purchase agreement with the seller we just signed is in place until the deal closes. A new contract signed between the equity protection buyer and owner of record for successful close of escrow.
The end of the close.
The close. Yeah. When the actions above are fully met, then in that event, the parties hereby deem to immediately be rescinded by mutual rescission and release of the parties with the mutual rescission wish to rescind that contract. It is further understood if a closing isn't successful, the real estate agreement shall remain valid. Okay? So our agreement with them stays valid until this property closes. Therefore, in consideration of the mutual covenants of the parties agree the conditional agreement effective as this day. The agreement conditional rescission shall be binding upon all parties, their successors, assignees, personal representatives. Neither party shall have any further rights or duties they're under. So this is literally just saying if we find an end buyer before close, We're going to close with that end buyer, and we're going to release the original purchase agreement and close with the end buyer of the purchase. If that doesn't happen, our purchase agreement just stays in place the whole time.
We just keep trying to find that end buyer.
That's all it is. But when we're like explaining novations to them,
Yeah.
like that's like the legality of this, so you understand what this is saying. But like a pitch on novations is different than just the contract.
Yeah.
Because like if we're given a cash offer and we're negotiating and we negotiate up and we still can't come up with a deal with them, then sometimes we have to switch to a novation, which we got to find. We're going to market this property to a retail buyer so we can offer more and sell it for higher. So on something like that, we would say, hey, listen, I get it, you don't like the 150,000, but this property could qualify for equity protection plan. Not every property does qualify, but with that program, we're usually to come up a lot higher in our offer. And I think your property might be a good candidate for that. I already put it in their ears. I knew we were off on the numbers. So let me put you on a quick hold, see if it qualifies for that. And let's see what the offer would be if it does.
Okay.
And then we just put them on hold, come back. All we're going to need is a little bit more time. They're asking for a 90 business day close on the equity protection plan that we have, but the offer came all the way up to whatever.
Yeah.
And then once they agree to the number, we can explain it a little further in detail. Like if it's a vacant property, we can be a super vague. Right? If it's tenant or especially owner occupied, we got to really fucking be transparent with what is going to happen.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So if it's vacant, we just continue vague just like that.
Okay.
If it's tenant occupied or owner occupied, now we got to, let them know exactly what's going to happen. Let me explain what the equity protection plan is and why we were able to come all the way up to $180,000. We pre-market the property. We have real estate agent partners in Winston-Salem that we're going to market this property to. They're going to bring in some retail buyers that are going to be an end buyer on this property. They're going to have to walk it. You're going to have a few walkthroughs so we can find that buyer. We're going to take care of any repairs or renovations that buyer needs in order to close. We're going to take care of closing costs. We're going to take care of any commissions if there are any, so we can come all the way up to this price. Okay. Because we have an end buyer in mind.
Yeah. That's what I was going to ask you. What would be the advantage if they come back and say,
well, I just list it, hey, I don't know a realtor on the planet that's going to pay your closing costs and not charge you commissions. Right? Yeah. Do you know a realtor in your Rolodex that's going to put $50,000 into your property to make sure you get top dollar for it? No. That's where we come in. We're partners on this deal. Say a buyer comes that wants the kitchen renovated and it's going to cost $50,000. We'll do that so we can get top dollar so we can give you that 180.
Yeah.
We might make a little bit on the back end, but we're going to put a lot of effort and capital into this and our partners.
Okay.
Our relationships.
Yeah. So now outside of that conversation, just from my understanding, if that is the case, if we do run into this scenario, we do need to do the construction stuff, how do those numbers work?
We do, most of the time we'll do credits at close.
Okay.
So like if we'll market the property, we'll get buyers, we'll get offers in, and let's say during inspection from the lender and appraisal, they say, oh, we need 20 grand worth of stuff fixed on this thing. We'll negotiate, hey, we'll give you a $8,000 credit at close, and then we just do that. So then at close, they just get an extra.
Okay.
And that all comes out of our end. Thanks, brother. But we make all that. We know that. That's why we got it locked up at a certain price. So we have enough time.
Okay, gotcha. I understand. Wait. Okay. The last thing is, I've been having people just get hung up on this guy. Yeah, right.
Motherfucker.
You got another meeting? So this guy, just to cut through this exactly. So what we do is, from what I understand, is we do actually list it on the MLS, right? This is our agreement allows us to list it on their behalf. Oh yeah. Okay.
You got something? I just had. I'm good. Thank you so much. So yeah, this is an authorization to sign listing docs and offers.
Yeah.
So we'll just read it.
Yeah.
We, the seller, that's the seller's line. We grant the specific authorization to sign, my name there. As the attorney in fact, said attorney in fact shall have full power and authority to undertake and perform the following acts on my behalf related to this property. Seller specifically authorized gives permission to the attorney in fact to list the property on any and all multiple listing services for the purpose of marketing and selling the property. This includes executing listing agreements, listing agreement addendums, disclosure, sales contracts, and addendums. Okay, so this just authorizes us to sign on their behalf.
Yeah.
Listing documents if we decide we want to pre-market it on the MLS.
Yeah.
That's it.
I had someone ask me about the sales contracts part that it allows us to sign. Not only the listing agreement, they're like, you're allowed to sign. Are you allowed to sign a sales contract?
We're not allowed to sign closing docs.
Okay.
Sales contracts is in there for like if we're doing a novations and an offer to purchase comes through, we can sign on their behalf the offer, but we can't sign to close on the property.
Gotcha.
So like if anybody does give pushback on this,
Yeah.
we can read it verbatim if they want us to, and then we can explain it. Listen, there is no right for us to sign a closing documents on this. Like the title company is gonna either have you come into their office to sign closing docs, or they'll send a licensed notary out there. You're gonna have to show your ID before you can even sign this closing documents. Like that's illegal for anybody to do so unless you have a fully executed notarized power of attorney.
Yeah.
This is literally just helping us pre-market the property so we can close fast and get you your 150 grand.
I think that's where the gap in misunderstanding is. I think they're thinking this attorney effect is that.
Yeah, so explain like that. And we've even gone so far as to like, and nowhere in here does it say closing documents.
Yeah.
And I get it. I trust it. I still don't want to sign that. And then I've gone so far as to, hey, let me put in the additional terms. We are not authorized to sign any closing documents from the title company on behalf of the seller.
Yeah.
Like just so you know, it's ironclad.
Yeah. But now that you explain that though, like the difference between the attorney in fact and power of attorney, they're like the way they're approaching me in the conversations as if when they read that, they're thinking power of attorney, like we can actually like
We can't.
sell this, right?
No, it's limited.
Yeah.
So authorization shall include such incidental acts as reasonably required to carry authorities. The authorization is effective upon execution. Office may be revoked from the above statement on one, the power or responsibility has been completed. So this agreement goes away as soon as this transaction is complete. This authorization form shall automatically be revoked upon my death or incapacitation, provided any person relying on this power of attorney shall give full rights to accept and reply upon the authority of the attorney in fact until the receipt of actual notice of revocation. So basically saying if they die or become incapacitated, this goes away. Okay? This is very limited to just listing docs, everything in number one. It's very limited to for the purpose of marketing and selling the property, and it includes signing listing agreements, listing addendums, disclosures, contracts, and addendums. It is not closing documents.
Yeah.
So the reason we need this, it goes hand in hand with clause 16. Remember, seller, we went over clause number 16, pre-marketing the property.
Yeah.
The reason we were able to come all the way up to 150 and can close in 45 days or less is because of our process.
Yeah.
Like if we didn't pre-market the property and have a renter or an end buyer in mind after we close with you, then we would have came in much lower. And we would need a longer closing period.
Right.
The reason we're able to do 150 and close in 45 days or less is because we can pre-market the property. 16 goes hand in hand with the authorization form. It's literally just to market the property before, so we can find a buyer before we close the deal.
Yeah. And if they have a problem with us, like the one guy, Myron, he had a problem. So you guys are going to say end buyer. how do we?
But he said that because of this.
No, he said that. Well, he read the contract and he understood it as we're not the.
I would say, listen, we buy rentals, we flip houses. Sometimes if a house doesn't fit our buy box, we'll pre-market it, we'll find a buyer.
Yeah.
We're still going to close with you,
Yeah.
but now we're going to have an end buyer in mind that we can just buy it, clean it up, and have them, and then have somebody that's going to buy it.
Yeah.
On these types of deals, Myra, we're not going to make a ton of money. Nobody's retiring on this deal.
Yeah.
We're just trying to get the deal done in a quick manner for this price that you agreed to. And we're going to own this property for a very short amount of time and do a little bit of work to it. And we might make $5,000 on it
Yeah.
in the end. But you're going to sell your home for what you want to sell it for. And a buyer's going to buy it for what they want to buy it for. And we'll facilitate.
Yeah. That's clear.
Yeah, you don't want to lie to them.
No, I'm talking. Yeah.
But like, even on there was that $89,000 deal we did in Canada. She had hesitation, and I told her 1,000%. I'm like, you're gonna on your closing documents, you're gonna see prime partner. We are buying this property from you.
Right.
I'm gonna list it. We're gonna have end buyers walk it because we need somebody in mind when we close on it.
Yeah.
But you will see prime partner home buyers on the contract. I promise you, because I knew we could double close. And she's like, as long as I see prime partner home buyers, I'm good. And
Yeah.
that's what she said.
I think if I said that, if I had that talk track, it would restore more confidence in them, right? Because I think what they're in their mind, the process that they're reading on the contract, when they don't understand these things, is that
I'm sure you've seen on Zillow, Drew, the coming soon properties.
Yeah.
In a neighborhood with one picture. That's basically what we're doing.
Yeah.
We're trying to get the ball rolling here so we don't get bottled. Last thing we want to do is be silent, close, and then start our process from scratch after we close. We're trying to get a head start here. And because once we implemented this a couple of years ago,
yeah,
our offers went up 17% and our closing days came down 15 days. That's why we were able to come up with 150. I just made that up, but you can say something.
yeah. And how do we like their worst fear is that they don't close, and we had exclusive rights to sell the property. It doesn't close, and all they're getting is, he actually said that, like, all I'm getting is $100 for exclusive.
Underwriters are super confident in what they do. We do this all day, every day.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing in life is guaranteed. Look at your neighborhood right now on Zillow. Houses have been sitting 113 days. What if those don't sell?
Yeah.
I'm asking for 90 days. A listing agent is going to ask you for 12 months on their listing agreement.
Contract, yeah.
Would you rather be locked in with somebody not doing their job for 12 months or work with a professional company that can get this done in 90 days or less?
Yeah.
We're confident in the numbers.
Yeah.
You've been honest with me. I'm being honest with you. We're going to get this deal done.
Cool. Good.
Yep.
Yeah. Thank you. We need all of that.